Does your home lab have like fast storage and fast servers, but everything else just feels slow? What could it be? Well, it could be a few things. And today we're talking about how you can ensure that everything is running actually at a much better pace. In many home labs, the network is key. The network performance is what actually makes the home lab run well or not well. My name is Emilio. I love tech. This YouTube channel, would love it if you also subscribe. If you click on the button, on the bell, that way you're notified when we are releasing new stuff and you don't miss out on anything like this video right now. I have a Udemy training course section as well, where I've got a whole bunch of training courses on all things tech. So you may want to go check out some of those courses if you want to learn more about just everything in technology. You can go see some of those. Talking about networks, and how to improve the network in your home lab will actually improve the overall performance of your network and all the tech that is running on your network. It's quite important. So you can throw as much money as you want into great CPUs, great amounts of storage, and a whole bunch of RAM in your computers. But if your network is actually running and performing slowly, it's gonna have a direct impact. You may have a server that is performing very well, but then the things that you need to access that server, or you accessing that server, or the services that this thing is using out to the internet is gonna be bottlenecked because of the network. Because ultimately, all of this traffic, all of your servers, all of your storage stuff needs to flow through the network that you've set up. So why does the network actually bottleneck a lab? And as I said, you could just be pumping lots of money into all of this stuff. You upgrade your hard drives, right? You've gone from hard drives that were like with moving parts inside of them, your standard older SATA hard drives, and you've gone all flash, and that's brilliant. Good for you. But should you have spent money there, or should you have spent money on the network and improved the performance of the network? Maybe your backups are slow, your VMs are running sluggish, you are trying to migrate VMs from one piece of tech to another piece of tech, and it's just not as fast as you expect it. If your network can't keep up with all of the tasks that you've got running on your home lab, it's gonna run into problems. The network is essentially like the plumbing, right? In your home, you've got all the plumbing that all the stuff flows through, right? So here's an example. I've got myself a VM running on a server, and that server has a 1 gigabit network card. And then I'm plugging that into my switch because maybe my switch is running 2.5 or a 10 gigabit port, right? And I've run into that port, right? And I'm going, man, this is amazing. I'm gonna get 10 gigabit network speeds. No, you're not. No, you're not, because you've got one end that's 1 gig, the other end it's 10, you're all gonna throttle your entire network. It's only gonna be running at 1. So that's why network bottlenecks happen. You need to make sure that your wireless and your back-end hardwired network is at a good performance speed, because that is the ultimate thing that's going to determine whether you've got good or poor performance. Yeah. So let's talk about the first one being your wireless connectivity. What is the wireless that you've got running on your home lab? Now you may be thinking, I don't actually have wireless at all on my home lab because everything is running on Ethernet. Well, you've probably got other devices on your network somewhere at home that is using Wi-Fi, right? You've got a phone, smart lights, you've got all of this stuff has to talk to some sort of a wireless access point, which then ultimately is then physically connected through a cable to your network. If your wireless is slow, then that could be a problem, because then everything else starts to run slow. So what I've got running in my home lab and across my entire home is a Wi-Fi 7. All right, so as of this video, Wi-Fi 7 is the best technology that's available on the Wi-Fi space. Wi-Fi 7 is not just about speed. So Wi-Fi 7 actually improves the latency. You're gonna get lower latency, you're gonna get better device concurrency, smarter use of available spectrum. All right, so you're gonna get a lot more opportunity here to get better connectivity throughout the whole environment. You've got older Wi-Fis and they're okay, but you wanna get the fastest that is available to guarantee better performance. In my case, I've got a Ubiquiti setup. I love my Ubiquiti setup. I spent a bit of time some time ago upgrading my entire network, right? Because I knew that my bottleneck was my wireless. I knew that my bottleneck was my hardwired cabling. We've got a switch, we've got my router, my gateway, and I've got my 3 wireless access points, my WAPs. Now these are the AP7s by Ubiquiti, And these things pack a punch. This is exactly why I wanted to get something that was significantly better, so that all of my devices are now connected to these AP7s. And because they're a much faster, better technology, it's just overall gonna improve my performance. And where you can, you've got different bands as well. You've got the 2.4 gigahertz band, this is on wireless. You've got 5, and now you've got 6 as well. 2.4 is gonna let you go a lot further, but it's gonna be slower. 5 is gonna be faster, but it's not gonna let you go as far, right? And 2.4 works better going through walls and things like this, while 5, you can run into hindrances. But of course, the limitation here is you need to make sure that every single device that needs your wireless connectivity, your laptops, your phones, your IoT devices, your smart TVs, all of that stuff, they need to be capable of running on the 5 range, yeah? If they can only do 2.4, then 2.4 is what it is. But if you have the ability to upgrade everything to run on 5, and of course the newer version 6, you're gonna find a significant improvement in your overall wireless on your Homelab. And then I move over to my wired backbone, right? Which is the core piece of my network. I've got my street network coming in, my internet coming in to my NTU, to my termination device, to my ISP's modem, router, whatever you want to call it, which then feeds into my new Ubiquity gateway. This thing packs a punch. Now, this is where it gets very, very important, is I want to make sure that all of my Ethernet is running at the fastest speeds possible. You can go for a 1 gigabit, you can go for a 2.5, or you can go for a 10. Now, I've chosen to go for a minimum, if I can, at 2.5, and some devices running at 10. If you can get your Homelab running a 10 gigabit network, wowee, hoo boy, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be so happy because 10 is like gonna blow your traditional 1. So my switch that I bought, this is, I love these switches, right? This is a port, 24 port, and I've got what's called ether lighting as well. So I can actually see on the front of my switch, the speed of the connection for my device. So it actually will light up a specific color for the specific speed of that device. So if it's running on 100, if it's running on 1, 2.5 or 10, I can actually see it directly right on there. And this is the crux, right? Because all of my Homelab gear, my mini PCs, my servers, my NAS devices, my CCTV, all of that stuff is all hardwired. And I want to get the best performance possible. So if you want a better, faster network, spend the money to get yourself a good backbone, a good switch, a good gateway that has capability of going a minimum 2.5, if you can 10, and then all the devices that are running into it, try to get them to the best speed possible. So in my case, this particular switch, on the very, very far right, I've got 2 ports where I've got a little SFP module, which essentially gives me a Ethernet point, an RJ45 point, that allows me to have up to 10 gig, yeah? And this is where you get the speed of 10 gig. Now, in different sorts of switches, you can actually get 10 gig across every single port if you really wanted to. And then you can get combinations of fiber connectivity and Ethernet connectivity, but then making sure that you're running it into the tech at that same speed. So what I've done, for example, is I've got my NAS, all right? So I've got myself my Synology NAS, and I've spent the money to buy myself a dual port 10 gig card for my NAS. Now my NAS came with 1 gigabit ports. I've got other NASs that had 2.5, but this is the main thing. This is the main thing where all of my data is kept. All my VMs are running out of this. So I thought, you know what? That's a quick, easy win. Buy myself a 10 gig card. And now I've got 10 gig running between my switch and between my Synology NAS. Now, what I'd recommend as well is if you have the ability to go and find yourself the computers now, the servers, the mini PCs, or whatever you've got, try to get those upgraded or buying, like if you're thinking about buying new tech for your Homelab, try to get them at a minimum of 2.5 gig. And if they have the ability for you to install additional cards to go 10 gig, that's even better. But then I've got several other devices. I've got a few other NASs and I've got a few other little PCs, and I've got my main rack-based server, which gives me the capability to have at least 2.5 as a minimum. So then that way I'm running those physically into the switch, and I've got all the pretty lights on the front that lets me know which ones are running at 2.5 and which ones are running at 10, and then which ones are still running on the traditional 1. Of course, 10 gig is like pretty standard in many places, in many organizations. You're going to be running 10 gig for everything, but then you can get significantly faster than that. And now many organizations at least, and if you want to do this in your home lab, and you got unlimited cache, go crazy, because you can get 25, you can get 50, 100 gig connections in corporate spaces, because 10 has been sort of a thing in the corporate space for quite a while. Home labs, they're now starting to catch up to 10 if you can. If you want to go faster, you can go faster. So hopefully those tips helped you out. Let us know down below what you thought. I've got training courses on lots of tech. If you want to know more about networking, storage, VMware, IT management, cybersecurity, go check out some of those courses on Udemy, and also subscribe, please. Love it if you subscribe. You watch these channels. A lot of people watch my videos on my channel, but they don't subscribe. So if you click on the button on the bell, it helps me out, but also helps me know that you are wanting great content and you like following along. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video.